Stranger Things Season 5 finale changes everything. The story of Hawkins and its heroes comes to a head. In this video, we'll explain the ending, what happens to the group, and how Vecna and the Mind Flayer are stopped. Before we start, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more breakdowns and explanations of your favorite shows. Let's dive in and see what really happens in the finale. Did Eleven actually die? Let's be real. The finale makes it feel like she's gone. It hits hard, it's emotional. It's the kind of scene that leaves you breathless. But here's the truth, and my take. I don't buy that she's gone for good. Think about Eleven. She's never survived by chance. Everything she does is intentional. Every risk she takes, every move she makes, it's calculated. She doesn't stumble through danger. She owns it. That's how she's lived this whole time. Even when it looks like there's no way out, she doesn't panic. She doesn't freeze. She acts. She decides. And that pattern? It doesn't end. Look at her instincts. Eleven understands stakes and timing better than anyone. She's not reckless, she's deliberate. She doesn't just react, she evaluates, she measures, she adapts. Survival isn't something that happens to her, it's something she engineers. And if she needed to disappear for a while to survive, that's exactly the kind of thing she would do. That's exactly how she operates. Then there's Mike. His story at the end isn't just a comforting fantasy, it's a reflection of how the show sees her. He imagines her surviving. That's not random, that's intentional. It's telling the audience that Eleven doesn't vanish just because the moment looks fatal. She survives. She adapts. She finds a way. Even when everyone else assumes she's gone, she doesn't disappear, that's who she is. And that's the genius of leaving her fate ambiguous. The show doesn't spell it out because Eleven isn't a character you can pin down with certainty. She's unpredictable. She's independent. She's a force that doesn't follow rules, and that applies to her survival as much as her powers. The ambiguity mirrors her character. It makes us question, wonder, imagine. It keeps her alive in the audience's mind, whether she's on screen or not. Her death isn't meaningless. It's emotional. It raises stakes. It lands with the other characters. But Eleven isn't someone you can write off. Her history proves she's never out of options. She doesn't rely on luck. She doesn't wait for rescue. She adapts, she calculates, and she survives. That's her pattern. That's the core of who she is. Even in moments that look final, her story logic says she's not gone. She survives through strategy, through timing, through sheer instinct. She isn't just strong, she's clever. She doesn't just react, she controls the outcome. That's why anyone questioning her fate should look at how she operates, not what happens to her body in a scene. Survival for Eleven isn't about being lucky. It's about making the choice to live, and she always makes that choice. Henry was never the villain in the finale. The Mind Flayer did not act independently. It used him as a channel. He did not make decisions for it. He did not direct its actions. He only provided access. The force that appeared unstoppable did not originate in Henry. Attacks came from influence outside his mind. Effects flowed through him. He was present in the chain, but responsibility did not rest on him. Outcomes were not his to determine. Lives were not his to decide. Targets were not his to select. The Mind Flayer acted because of him, not by him. He carried the consequences of its movement. He appeared central, but being central is not being the source. The origin remained beyond him. The danger existed outside him. The horror existed outside him. He was chosen, like Will, not responsible. Henry's presence allowed the Mind Flayer to manifest, but it did not make him the villain. The events ran through him. The process depended on him. The system relied on him. Yet he did not create it. He did not intend it. He did not control it. He did not define it. The finale shows that threat can appear tied to someone, but connection is not authorship. Henry was a vessel. He was a link. The Mind Flayer acted through him. The danger passed through him. His role was access, not choice. The Force could not act without him. It required his presence to influence the world. That does not make him the origin. That does not make him responsible. He was chosen to carry it, not to wield it. He was necessary for the process, not accountable for it. Chaos moved through him. Patterns unfolded through him. Events escalated through him. He existed within the flow, but he did not create the flow. He did not dictate the direction. He did not shape the result. The Mind Flayer used him, but he never used it. Henry did not decide consequences. He did not choose who suffered. He did not shape outcomes. The Mind Flayer produced effects through him, but the decisions were outside his control. The power he carried was borrowed, not owned. The acts attributed to him were carried, not created. The finale emphasizes the difference between influence and agency. Henry influenced the situation by being the point of access. He had no agency over what occurred. He had no authorship over events. He allowed the Mind Flayer to act, but he did not command it. He existed in the system, not at the source. The horror he seemed to create was external. The danger he seemed to cause was external. The movement that appeared unstoppable was guided from outside him. He was a host. He was a channel. He was a participant in the mechanism, but he was never the operator. The Mind Flayer followed its own design. It required connection. Henry provided the connection. That is the full explanation. He carried presence, not responsibility. He carried access, not control. He carried manifestation, not origin. Every instance of the Mind Flayer's influence flowed through Henry. He did not create the events. He did not control the events. He did not intend the events. He did not define the events. He was chosen to host the force like Will before him. He was not the villain. The group's plan relied on precision and coordination. They did not intend to fight the threat head-on. The strategy was to use the enemy's own power against it. They divided roles. Each member had a specific task. Timing and placement were critical. The goal was clear: stop the threat while minimizing risk to civilians and themselves. The first step was to allow the worlds to draw closer. They did not try to block the convergence. Instead, they calculated how much space was needed. They waited for the rift to align, creating a pathway large enough for access. This required observation and patience. The group monitored patterns and behavior to ensure the timing was correct. Once the pathway opened, the second step involved a psychic strike. 11 would enter the enemy's mind. Her task was to confront the internal space where Henry existed. She did not act alone. She relied on guidance from the team, including Max and Coley. Their role was to maintain clarity and support her focus. The objective was to reach Henry's mind while avoiding the traps and dangers inside the psychic landscape. The third step involved physical intervention. While 11 worked within the mind, the rest of the group had to enter the abyss through the pathway. Their tasks were distinct. Some members were responsible for protecting the kidnapped children. Others were assigned to neutralize the Mind Flayer's extensions in the physical world. Their actions were synchronized with 11's progress. Any delay could compromise the psychic strike. Distraction was part of the plan. Certain members drew attention away from critical areas. This allowed the others to move with precision. By controlling what the threat focused on, the group created openings. The enemy's responses were predictable once guided into specific positions. This manipulation of behavior turned danger into opportunity. Containment was essential. The group controlled locations where the enemy could move. They limited access points and directed force into positions where the team could act effectively. Uncontrolled movement would have been catastrophic. Limiting the field allowed interventions to succeed and reduced risk of collateral damage. Leverage was built into the strategy. The enemy's own power was used against itself. Patterns were anticipated. Reactions were predicted. Each action forced the threat into positions where the team could neutralize extensions or rescue targets. Success did not rely on brute strength. It relied on using intelligence and understanding behavior. Flexibility remained part of the plan. Contingencies accounted for unpredictability. If the enemy moved differently, the team had instructions to adapt. Positions could be adjusted. Timing could be altered. Communication ensured these changes did not disrupt coordination. Flexibility prevented collapse under pressure. The final step involved destroying the source of the connection. Explosives were placed at the location stabilizing the bridge between worlds. Once detonated, the bridge would collapse, cutting off the abyss from the world. This step required precise timing, ensuring the psychic and physical operations had already succeeded. Coordination across tasks was critical. Focus and discipline were constant. Panic would compromise the strategy. Each member had to remain aware of timing and position. Distraction was ignored. Observation and execution were continuous. The plan depended on alignment. Any deviation could endanger everyone. The overall design combined psychic entry, physical intervention, manipulation of movement, and final destruction of the bridge. Roles reinforced each other. Timing created opportunity. Preparation reduced risk. The group's plan turned a massive threat into a series of manageable steps. Success depended on execution and coordination, not chance. The strategy was not linear. It relied on multiple sequences running simultaneously. Psychic operations occurred while physical teams acted. Distraction, containment, leverage, and destruction all interacted. Coordination ensured that each step reinforced the others. The system functioned only if every role was executed correctly. Risk was constant. Threats could appear from unexpected angles. Members were prepared to react without breaking the plan. Each person understood responsibilities and consequences. The team acted with precision under pressure. Mental clarity and coordination maintained control at every stage. The plan allowed the enemy's own actions to create openings. It transformed unpredictability into control. It relied on intelligence, timing, and alignment. No single step could succeed alone. The combination of roles, actions, and timing produced the opportunity to neutralize the threat. The group's plan was methodical, detailed, and deliberate. Observation, distraction, containment, psychic engagement, physical intervention, leverage, flexibility, and destruction worked to VECNA'S death in the finale is the result of strategy, timing, and teamwork. He does not fall because of a single strike. He falls because the system that keeps him alive is broken. His power relies on Henry, the Mind Flayer, and the bridge between worlds. When those connections are disrupted, VECNA loses control. The group attacks in layers. 11 enters the psychic space to confront Henry. She disrupts the link between his mind and the Mind Flayer. This removes the channel that allowed VECNA to extend his power. The attack weakens him but does not destroy him. The force inside him is still present, anchored in the physical world. At the same time, the team focuses on containment. They neutralize extensions of the Mind Flayer in the physical world. They secure areas where it could act. They prevent harm to civilians and stop the threat from spreading. The disruption in the psychic space combined with physical control reduces his energy and limits his influence. Destruction of the bridge between worlds is the final step. Explosives remove the structures that stabilize the rift. Once the rift collapses, the abyss no longer connects to Hawkins. Without that link, the energy sustaining VECNA dissipates. His body can no longer maintain the force that gave him power. Joyce delivers the final act. She approaches VECNA in the physical world and stops him completely. Severing his body eliminates the last connection to the Mind Flayer and the Upside Down. His presence disappears. The energy sustaining him collapses. The threat ends because all supporting structures are removed. VECNA'S death shows that power is not just about strength. Power depends on connections. Remove the connections and the system fails. Weakening the psychic link, controlling the environment, and destroying the bridge between worlds all contribute to the result. No single action could succeed alone. The plan relies on alignment, timing, and execution. The finale emphasizes layers of action. First, the link between Henry and the Mind Flayer is broken. Then, the force is contained physically. Finally, the bridge is destroyed and the body is eliminated. These layers work together. Each step amplifies the effect of the others. The combination ensures that the system sustaining VECNA cannot recover. His threat is removed because the energy flows are interrupted. Psychic influence ends, physical access is severed, environmental support disappears. Without these elements, VECNA cannot act. He is no longer a channel, no longer an operator, no longer a force that can threaten the world. The result is complete elimination of his presence. His power depended entirely on external systems. Weakening or removing those systems produces collapse. The finale demonstrates that removing the sources of power is more effective than attacking the figure alone. Coordination, strategy, and timing achieve what raw force cannot. The process shows intentional design. The group acts as a system. Each role, movement, and action contributes to the end. Timing is essential. Psychic attack, containment, and destruction occur in sequence. The collapse is inevitable once connections fail. The plan succeeds because of execution, not luck. VECNA'S death is therefore a combination of strategy, disruption, and removal of supporting links. The physical strike ends the final presence. The collapse of the bridge removes energy. The disruption of the Mind Flayer link removes psychic control. Together, these actions neutralize the threat completely. The fate of the group. After the battle, Hawkins begins to recover. The Upside Down has been destroyed and the immediate danger is gone. The group is no longer facing life or death threats every day, but the experience leaves a lasting impact on everyone. Their relationships, their skills, and their perspective on the world have all changed. Mike becomes a writer. He records their adventures, capturing the story of everything they faced together. His writing reflects the bonds he shares with his friends and the lessons learned in Hawkins. Dustin goes to college. He excels academically but keeps in touch with the group. He continues to support Steve, who becomes a baseball coach and a teacher, guiding younger kids while staying connected to his friends. Will moves to a larger city. He finds acceptance and begins building a life that allows him to grow beyond the trauma of the past. He starts forming new relationships and discovers a sense of peace that was missing before. Lucas and Max remain close. Their relationship grows steadily, built on trust, shared experiences, and the challenges they overcame together. Hopper and Joyce stay together. They begin planning a life outside Hawkins, free from the constant threat of monsters. Their future is open, but they have each other and a home they fought to protect. Robin pursues college and new opportunities, learning more about herself and what she wants from life. Nancy focuses on journalism, using her skills to uncover stories and make an impact in the world. Jonathan continues studying film, combining his creativity with the determination forged through every danger. Eleven's fate is uncertain. On screen, she appears to make a sacrifice, holding back the collapse of the Upside Down. Mike imagines that she survived. The show leaves it open-ended, suggesting that she may have escaped and found safety. This ambiguity allows the audience to decide what happened to her, keeping the story alive even after the finale ends. The final scene with the group playing Dungeons and Dragons symbolizes more than a game. It represents their shared history, their growth, and the bond that survives all challenges. Even though they are in different places, physically and emotionally, the connection between them endures. Their experiences in Hawkins, their battles with Vecna and the Mind Flayer, and their struggles with loss and fear have shaped them into who they are now. The group's fate is a mix of closure and possibility. The battle ends, but their story continues. Their lives move forward, careers begin, relationships deepen, and personal growth takes center stage. Hawkins is peaceful, but the memories of the fight remain. They carry the lessons, the victories, and even the sacrifices with them. Their bond, forged in danger, will always remain unbroken. Even after everything, the group still finds ways to connect, support each other, and remember who they are. The ending is not just about survival. It is about growth, resilience, and moving forward together, no matter where life takes them. The battle is over, Hawkins is safe, but questions still remain. Eleven's fate is unclear, Vecna is gone, and the group moves forward. Stronger, smarter, and changed forever. What do you think really happened to 11? Will she return? Let us know in the comments. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay updated on every theory, breakdown, and explanation we release. The story might be over, but the discussion is just beginning.